Hello everyone, welcome to Fiaura. So today we are going to review the Scorpion. The Scorpion. 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 And mine's gold, bitch. What up? I pimp my ride. So, let's take a look at it. And what are we going to possibly compare this thing to? Well, there are a couple vehicles we could do a comparison of with it. And I'm going to go over those now. So the Leopard 1 has a very similar playstyle to the Scorpion. We also have the BMP 1 that has a similar playstyle to the Scorpion. And we have the Dragoon 90 or the LAV 150-90. They play almost exactly the same. That has a very good comparison to the Scorpion. So, let's take a look at this tank against the Leopard 1. So, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, Scorpion is going to lose on penetration against all these vehicles. It fires nothing but high explosive. However, as you can clearly see, it has a higher DPM than the Leopard 1. What? Remember, these are high explosive shells, though, so you need to hit targets that don't have any armor. Or you need to hit them where they don't have armor, or you're going to do partial damage quite often. But you will almost always do damage, even against tier 5s. So, the first thing we're going to look at is hit points. 1,015 hit points is not exactly something to laugh at tier 3. In addition to this, it's a light tank. But as you can see, it has no armor. It's military aluminum. It's thin as hell. It may as well be 9mm, 7mm, 5mm. If something hits you, it penetrated. Just deal with it. Speed-wise, top speed, the Leopard 1 is faster, but with the engine override ability, the Scorpion will actually go faster, and the Scorpion's acceleration is amazing! We're even going to see it be more amazing than a lot of other vehicles. Camouflage rating on this vehicle is obscene. With the extra painted camo, it's originally 30.3%, now it's 33.3%. 1/3 of the enemy view range is useless for spotting you when you're sitting still. View range, however, it doesn't quite meet the Leopard 1. It actually has one of the lower view ranges of any vehicle at tier 3. But, if you want to equip optics and compensate for that, you can. Turret traverse. The turret is very whippy, so is the hull. It's a light tank. Everything whips around at speed of stupid. It also has superior gun depression to the Leopard 1 over all sides. And still has 6 degrees off the back. That's pretty good. Accuracy spread, it's not very accurate. It's a 76mm HE flinging gun. It's not the most accurate thing in the world, but you don't have to precisely hit the target. You just need to actually hit it, and you probably heard it. Reload speed. Holy crap baskets, that's quick. Targeting time's a little long, but since I haven't hit shell materials, I really do compensate for that targeting time because I just fire on the move anyway. We'll go over its equipment very shortly. How does it stack up against the Dragoon 90? Well, it has comparable DPM, but again, it has no penetration. Then again, against the Dragoon 90, you two are just going to penetrate each other every time you hit. The difference here being that when the Scorpion penetrates, it's an HE penetration. It is going to wreck the modules on his insides. He's going to cry. He's going to weep at all of the shit you just broke. Even though he has 15mm of armor to your 12mm of penetration, that means his armor effectively only reduces the damage by 3 points. The rest of it is penetrating damage. You will destroy these things right, left, and sideways. Same thing with the LAV 150-90. You will devastate them. Top speed, again, it's not the fastest vehicle, but that acceleration is just sexy. Just sexy acceleration. Also, it still has 1,000. It has comparable hit points. It doesn't have more hit points, but it has comparable. View range, it's going to get outspotted if it's moving, but if it's sitting still, as you can clearly see, it has the superior camouflage rating. Much better gun depression, much whippier turret, slightly quicker reload. Not as accurate, takes a little longer to aim if you're aiming long range shots, especially with the Scorpion because of the very slow shell velocity, which we're going to go over here in a second. Now, against the BMP-1. Lower DPM, lower alpha. However, BMP-1 has significantly less hit points, and you will devastate this thing when you hit it. Plus, the BMP-1 is not. It's very hard to hit a Scorpion since the Scorpion moves real quickly, has high acceleration. You kind of have the advantage if you get into a short-range brawl. Armor! These are tier 3 tanks for the most part. They don't really have armor, but as you can clearly see, the BMP-1 will stop a little bit of the HE round, but for the most part, full damage expected every time you hit one of these things. Speed-wise, the Scorpion has a higher top speed, slightly lower acceleration, but with the ECU override, that acceleration becomes extremely high, and you can easily outrun a BMP-1. Vision! BMP-1 is going to spot you first. Whether it's moving, you're moving, doesn't matter. It's going to see you first. I'm sorry. It's just how it works. Gun depression, on the other hand, you have superior gun depression. Your turret, again, is the whippiest turret at tier 3. It just whips around. Your hull traverse is amazing as well, even though it's not displayed here. You do have a quicker reload. Accuracy spread is about the same. He has a slightly better aiming time, but you really don't need to worry about the aim time on the Scorpion because it's a light tank. It has extremely good accuracy on the move. This is also why I would recommend these shell materials to have even better moving accuracy. We're going to do something unusual here. We're also going to compare it to its higher tier counterpart, the Sheridan. And I'll go ahead and spoil the PvP for you a little bit. I'm going to kill Sheridan. Now, the Sheridan's armor is aluminum, regular old-fashioned aluminum, not military aluminum. So you will HE penetrate him every time you hit him, and you have a higher DPM. And you have relatively the same hit points. In a flat-out brawling situation, you should kill a Sheridan consistently. In a sniping situation, the Sheridan might win, but the Sheridan's accuracy spread versus yours, you might actually beat him. Your turret's also more whippy. You have significantly better camouflage. His view range isn't that much better. He does have a higher top speed, but again, you have the better acceleration here. Use it! And lastly, I'm actually going to show you guys your worst nightmare opponent. M60A3. This is the worst nightmare for the Scorpion. This is the thing that it never wants to run into. How do you hurt this thing? Well, you load Hesh if you're looking at the front, because you're going to blow his ERA off every time you hit him. And you might get to damage this mighty 105mm gun and temporarily knock him out of the fight, or jam his turret. If you've got a shot at this commander's hatch and you can put a round right in here to do some damage, you might actually get a penetrating hit, kill the commander, that kind of thing. If you get beside him, you want to just shoot rounds into his tracks all day long. It'll damage it. It'll do a decent amount of damage. It won't actually, get a full penetrating hit, but about 150 to 200 points of damage down in this track area. If you get behind him, or you get a shot at this back engine deck area right here, this thing up top, take the shot, because this has no armor whatsoever, and so hitting him in this engine deck area or this back here, full damage penetration, HE penetration level, critical damage. The tank is just screwed up and is screaming bloody murder. You also have to remember, on average, since most players just spray Sabo rounds, he will have to put 4 shots into you to kill you. That is kind of nice, having all those hit points. But let's talk about the Scorpion now, because this is its worst nightmare. And I've just explained to you how to deal with it. Yeah, just because you're the low tier tank doesn't mean you can't hurt him. So let's talk about how the Scorpion should be equipped. I personally prefer Freya for the extra DPM and the deadly explosives. You will slaughter crew, you will blow up modules. It is pretty damn devastating. If, however, you're more the scouty type, Washington works very well, increases the view range, gives you better aim speed, camouflage factor, reduces visibility when shooting as well. Those 4 right there are absolutely useful. The last option here is actually Sauna. And some of you are looking at me kind of funny. Because of his ability to set fires and the fact you're going to fire nothing but high explosive, he can work pretty well to constantly catch the enemy on fire. Crew-wise, there's something important to remember here. Your driver only has 1 job. Your gunner has 2. Your gunner is the loader and the gunner. If he gets knocked out, you're in double penalty land. So you really should save your med kit in case the gunner gets knocked out. Smooth ride, making this thing's on-the-move accuracy absolutely pinpoint. We're going to see me driving around full speed and just shoot stuff and it's going to hit. And there's nothing they can do about it. Or you're going to see me moving particularly at lower speeds and the aim circle doesn't even increase at all. There's no aim time. After smooth ride, I recommend off-road driving to increase your acceleration even further, since you're not really going to have the highest top speed, but the acceleration is going to be really nice. Gunner, rapid fire, giving you that extra damage per minute. After that, probably shoot from the hip so that you have even better shooting on the move for spite purposes, or you could do the twist to increase your already massively fast turret traverse for brawling purposes. Ammunition, equip the top AG round at 50%, equip the top HESH round at 50%. Against higher tier vehicles, you're probably going to fire HESH, particularly at the fronts of high tier MBTs. It won't do a lot of damage, but you will be destroying modules and inhibiting players from fighting. Also, this tank takes a lot of getting used to when leading targets. That is because of the slow shell velocity. The shell velocity is extremely slow at 500 meters per second. To give you a comparison, a T-62's Sabo round travels at 1200 meters per second. So the slow shell velocity is going to hurt you a lot. Now, consumables, I recommend standard loadout, nothing special here. Retrofits. Now, you get one retrofit slot. Kind of sucks. You have 3 real options. Option A is the internal hull reinforcement. If you want to take that 1,000 hit points that you already get and make it just over 1,100, about 1,125-ish. Really useful. If you want to go with a firepower retrofit, I recommend Enhanced Shell Materials. It's what I use. It really, really, really makes a difference, especially shooting on the move. You just auto-aim and fire. You don't care where you hit. You know you're going to do damage, particularly against low-health targets. It's just devastating. And when you encounter targets that have no armor, it's even worse because you're just moving full speed, doing 280 to 400 points of damage, depending upon how many criticals you score. Yeah, this thing on a penetrating hit, look at that. 426 penetrating hit. Ow! 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 That's painful. That is like getting hit by a Sheridan from a tier 3 who's just firing HE at you. Mobility retrofits, I don't recommend. You've already got the fastest mobility. Making it even faster isn't really going to help you. You need to compensate for one of the tank's weaknesses. Your other weakness compensation you could really look at is augmented optics. Getting 30 extra meters of view range when combined with Washington will give you about a 340 view range, which will give you the superior view range. So if you're going to use Washington, I recommend you also go with the augmented optics just to knock your view range through the roof. So, now that all that is said, all that is done, and we've taken a look at every potential opponent, let's go do some PvP! Shall we? Alright guys, so here we are. It's late at night when I'm recording this one. I was going to use the live stream footage, but YouTube has fucked me on that one. So I'm trying to get some footage live of the Scorpion, and I did initially get some. Except for I kind of screwed up and, well, I had the microphone off. My bad. So as you can see, we are driving the Scorpion here on Ghost Field. And this is not a terribly good... This is actually the opposite side I would like to be on. And again, nothing I can do about the side. Now the important thing to remember about the Scorpion is you don't actually have to hit weak points to cause damage, particularly at tier 3 to 5. You just fire and do damage. You particularly want to look for light tanks and AFVs, as they can be terribly vulnerable to your fire and therefore easy to kill. I'm surprised we don't have the Scorpion with the 25/30mm. That would be an excellent vehicle, I feel, but we don't have it. Now the enemy team has a single AFV, and once I know where he is, I know that I have a superior view range and camouflage rating to all of the MBTs. So as soon as we know where the XM800 is, I am very likely to try to make a run for those 2 artillery pieces. And I see the machine gun fire now, so he's up there.
Identify target.
Hostile PC. Move out, move!
Throw out my smoke so I can get close. Spot T-64. Get to cover. Now the T-64 is relatively blind, and I know it. And it appears as though they are letting us have this northern zone. I think the 64 is trying to blind fire me, surprisingly enough. Very interesting there, Mr. 64, with you and your blind fire shots. But I don't think they're going to be terribly effective today. The enemy is being very unaggressive up north, which is completely contrary to the map's meta. I want you guys to know that for a fact. Ooh. Another hit like that, and that XM800 is dead, and the primary threat to my vehicle, besides the Sheridan, is out of the match. I'll let the other Scorpion chase. I am going to go find those M109s, or at least recon back here and see if I spot anybody actually up here. Enemy team appears to be playing very, very differently than anticipated. We just lost our artillery. One of them. Nothing. Okay then. Well, I guess we're going to move out here and support this other Scorpion with shots into the ash of the leopard. Oh, wait a minute. I got shots here. Alright, let's keep moving. We got to kill his artillery before they do any significant damage. I'm not particularly worried about the cap. It's 4 minutes. I don't want to worry about it.
Identify target.
There's first M109. There's penetrating hit. There's second one, who is lower health. Let's go ahead and take him out.
Target down. Target locked.
As this other M109 turns to fire and blows his shot. I know he's got at least an 8-second reload.
Enemy destroyed.
That levels the artillery, and without our artillery here, levels the playing field. Zoom in on this leopard, fire. Now it's a really slow round, but it's a leopard. All I have to do is hit. Leopard turned. In order to avoid incoming fire. And that's kind of what you want to do with the Scorpion. You want to look for an exploit and slip through and find isolated tanks that you can hit. MBTs, you want to try to aim for their engine decks, because engine decks are NAMI to the Scorpion. Nom 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 nom. Absolutely devastate tanks that way. And we're going to come up here and try to kill this Sheridan. I think we got a shot on him. We do. Knocked out. Without that Sheridan, that's one of their tier 4s down. We do kind of have a shot on this 64, but kind of not. It's too iffy, I think, to really waste the round. As much as, 4-second reload. But when we have a shot like this, let's take it. If I can hit him right on the back, it will penetrate for full damage. Like I said, nice little slap. And now that I know he's isolated, I am a light tank. I kill isolated tanks very easily. So we're going to go rushing in at him. Ooh, he's dead. That just leaves the T-64. I'm going to... Oh, nope, don't have to. Xylo, get him. And that is how you play a Scorpion, ladies and gentlemen. At least for PvP. It makes an excellent little... It's a derp tank. It is seriously a derp tank. High rate of fire. Very good camouflage rating. Very good speed. It's a small target. I think the only 2 people who shot at me both missed, because it's a tiny target to try to hit. And it's sneaky. It is so sneaky. So now that we've got the PvP footage, let's take a look at the stats, and then we'll be taking a look at some PvE. Yeah, PvE. Because, as requested by everyone wants to know how to play this tank in PvP and PvE. I wish to accommodate. So as you guys can see, 1,600 damage dealt, 3 kills, all 3 on higher tier vehicles. I mean, the artillery's artillery, but the kill on the Sheridan, because it has a better camouflage rating than the Sheridan. I could sneak up on the Sheridan, take the shot, never even get spotted. And as you can see for the team, I came in 3rd place. Not bad. The other Scorpion came up higher, but I'm guessing because he got a lot of spotting damage. And the Xylo came up higher because, well, he just did a lot of damage. So in the meantime, do remember, this is not how much it normally earns because my Scorpion is battle hardened. This is the tank I run when I'm having a bad day, when I want to just feel good about it and just want to run it and having a bad day. And now I'm going to show you guys something comical, because for desert maps this is hilarious. My Scorpion is gold, bitches! Pimp my ride! British desert camo is so entertaining. In the meantime, let's go take a look at this in a PvE mission. And as you guys can see, we have Operation Perseus. I am the low tier with an OF-40, a Xylo, a Starship, and an AMX 10P. This is on medium difficulty, which is the highest difficulty you can set a tier 3 vehicle to. There is no hard mode for tier 3, sadly. And as you can see, something about the Starship, about the M60, by the way, the M60A3, the Starship, and the regular M60 Patton. You see that engine deck right there? Even the Scorpion squash shell will penetrate that, and if you want to absolutely wreck an MBT driver's day, shoot them in the engine exhaust. That is the advantage to the OF-40, the Leopard, the 62. Their engine deck exhaust is on top rather than out the back and very easily exposed. It's a lot harder to hit them there. Now, initially, I skipped the Scorpion because of bad experiences during early access. I decided I'd come back and play it and try it out, and it turns out it has been made into an amazingly deadly vehicle. I mean, this thing just rips people apart, as you saw in the previous match with the enemy tanks. And, you know, that. Other Scorpions, does anything that doesn't have armor, or if you can hit it somewhere where there's no armor, hates this tank. Now, Bulldogs can be a problem because they have a significant amount of tracks, and if you hit them in the tracks, you will do no damage virtually. But that is the potential of things that happen. Hello. I'll take the high damage roll. As you can see right now, we've actually issued more damage than everyone else so far. Now that's probably going to change once those main battle tanks get into their form, but in the meantime, I'm just going to keep racking it up. It also makes a great tank for finishing off enemy vehicles because of the, you know, I don't care where I hit you, I'm going to damage you anyway type of deal. So anything that has virtually no hit points left hates you. Jammed his turret, broke his everything. And that was an ammo rack. That was an ammunition explosion. Deploy smoke so that I don't receive fire from that AMX MP after shooting him. Get a nice little hit in, and he gets one back. That sucks, but hey, I've done my job. Which, basically the job of the Scorpion is to just continuously deal massive amounts of damage. And as you guys can see, I'm currently ahead on the damage rack with the Scorpion. This is why I equipped the enhanced shell materials, because moving, shooting, reloading, all of it faster than, you know, virtually every tank at tiers 3 to 5. At this point, only the AMX Pack 90 and the Xylo actually have a quicker reload than I do. And so it becomes really, really lethal at these lower tiers. Also, your gun depression is universal, which I'm about to probably have to go show in order to get these secondary objectives. But your gun depression is the same off the rear as it is the front of the tank. Oop, missed it. I'm going to switch to squash. Oh, hello. How are you today? I'm only switching to squad. I carry half and half, by the way. Very good reason for that. Because in higher tier matches, you just fuck. The HE isn't going to be doing enough damage, but Squash will wreck all of their modules. So when you're up against tier 5s, particularly, just start flinging Squash. You will blow A3's ERA armor off. You will absolutely devastate. You'll destroy a bunch of guns. I have knocked out 30, 40 guns in my matches just from, you know, flinging out. Not like total, not in one match, but you know. I'm spotted. That's not good.
Identified.
Hostile PC. Target locked.
Now, the Squash doesn't have as high penetration, so there's the times where it doesn't do nearly as much damage as the regular HE round, but it'll still get the job done. And it's particularly useful against MBTs. Now, for these guys, I'm actually going to show my rear, because I should, in theory, be able to peek over without giving them center mass, but, you know, the terrain is not always conducive to what I want versus what I have.
Identified target.
Hostile tank.
Alright, there they are. I'm really having to play here because the Scorpion, like just about every other light tank, has literally no armor.
Identified
You're basically you can't rely on it to bounce shells.
Direct hit.
And these are MBTs. I am just going to have to wail on them
Direct hit.
to bring them down. Up, they're shooting at me. Ow.
Tracking hit. Penetrated. Target hit.
Loader 18.
Enemy destroyed.
Load squad. Identified target.
Hostile tank.
They are returning fire, so there's no sense in me sitting up here.
NPAA forces are heading to the western silo en masse. Back this way then, cross the river again to go around the rock. Now get over there.
See if I can get some help up here, preferably from one of the MBTs. As I am trying my best to get a shot in.
Identified.
Hostile target hit.
I'll shoot that back 90, thank you.
Loader 18.
Ow!
Identified target.
Hostile tank.
Loader 18.
Appears as though our starship is failing to understand he is an MBT and should be taking the front line here, and has refused to move up. And I have just eaten these two Pack 90 shells from two different Pack 90s who spawned. Not that much I can do about it.
Load 18.
Hostile tank.
As I said, better camouflage than Sheridan most of the time.
Loader 18.
So I spotted him first. Took him another second to spot me.
Target.
Hostile tank.
And now he's behind cover. No, he's not.
Loader 18.
I missed. Makes me sad. M41 Walker Bulldog. Alright, I need to go get that third truck before we lose it. And I'm going to go ahead and use my field maintenance kit to keep me alive. As you can see, I'm quite easily keeping up with most of the tier 4s. The Xylo is the exception because of its exceptionally high rate of fire, but I am keeping up with them for the most part.
Hostile tank.
Loader. Nice work. I'll send a team to salvage the hardware and see if we can use it to find out more about the NPAA.
Threat destroyed.
I am, however, keeping up with the Xylo on kills, which is really nice. This tank is incredibly lethal. Surprisingly so, with just firing high explosive rounds. I would be terrified of this thing, honestly, if it had the 25mm machine gun. Because that would just be devastating. mean, look at that.
Identify target.
Awesome. Easy.
Loader. AG.
HE penetration.
Load AG.
HE penetration.
Load AG.
He's dead. Ooh, taking a lot of flak. So you don't want to get really close to these to AFVs because they will hurt you. Something fierce. The HE penetration potential on this thing is normally 264, but if you hit a bunch of modules, it's going to go through the roof. As you guys can see. We have now finished. So that's the Scorpion. One of the funnest things to do in PvE, by the way, is just run a platoon of 4 of these things and then say hello to the next person, and they're just like, shit, I'm not going to get any damage. Because they don't realize just how quickly it reloads and how much damage it's capable of really doing, particularly at these lower tiers when a lot of vehicles don't have armor. As you saw with the Sheridans, when I shot the Sheridan, or when I was just shooting at that T-64 or that Leopard, if you can make it hit, it hurts. And I'm referencing the PvE match, and from the I'm referencing the PvP match, my mistake. But from the PvE match, as you guys can clearly see, it just eats stuff alive. So I hope you've all enjoyed. I hope to see you all in the next video. If you have, please leave a like. If you'd like to see more stuff about Fiaura, subscribe! You want to support the channel? Click on the ads! Corporate America will pay for your entertainment. Or go to the Patreon page and pledge $1. I'll be going over this in the Yakking video on Monday when we give away prizes anyway. And here's the previous Armored Warfare review for you guys. In the meantime, from my house to yours, this is Fiaura officially signing out for right now. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye! An incoming missile. That's cute, swing fire.
Identify target.
Awesome. Thanks. Rocket.
There is no side scraping in Armored Warfare OF40.
Especially not in an OF40.
Yeah.
Identify.
Awesome. Thanks. Rocket.
Unicorn.
Ow.
Ammo. Up.
Right, I've got to disappear away from the keyboard for a minute.
Okay.
Identify target.
Awesome. Thanks.
Come on.
Penetrating.
Gotcha.